All right, and we are live. All right, sports update. Adrian, Reid, what's good?
Yo.
Another episode. All right, so I did want to start it off. I had a quick little Tigers question. So Tarek Scuba right now, he's first in the majors with a 16-4 record, 2.51 ERA. That's second in baseball, and he has 201 strikeouts, which is second in baseball. So Reid, do you think the AL Cy Young is Scuba's to lose as of right now?
Yeah, I actually think he already locked it up, but yeah, he did. It's definitely his to lose. I think it's dumb when they don't really talk about win losses for pitchers because the Tigers, all of his win losses have basically been because of him. Because it's always like I would like to go back. I don't know the stats on it, but I'd be interested to see how many games the Tigers team actually scored more than 5 runs in games that he's pitched. Because every time I feel like Skubal pitches, it's like a 2-1 win or a 3-2 win or something like that. I feel like they never get over, 5-6 runs. So his win-loss should definitely be counted because I think a lot of it has to do with, a lot of the losses have to do with the team, in that early stretch, really not hitting well. So I think a lot of his losses came from that. And then I think that a lot of his wins came from him pitching so great and the team only having to score, 1 or 2 runs to actually win it. So, yeah, it's definitely his to lose. They're saying that he can get the pitching triple crown, which I think would be pretty good, pretty cool. But he's got, like you said, he's second in ERA, second in strikeouts. So he's got a little bit of,
Third in strikeouts.
Third in strikeouts. Okay, that's crazy to me. Someone's higher than 200.
Somebody must have just passed him tonight.
He's tied for second.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely think it's his to lose. I mean, he's pitching crazy. A lefty that throws, 100 miles an hour is something you haven't seen in a long time. So, yeah, I hope he wins it. Be cool.
For sure. All right. Well, yeah. Tigers on the you had anything to add to that, Adrian, or Reid said it all?
I mean, he said what like we talk about wins in baseball for starting pitchers kind of overrated now, especially with some of the innings they pitch and teams blow leads and all that kind of stuff. So kind of look more like the ERA, the quality starts, strikeouts, consistency. But no doubt in my mind, he deserves to win the AL Cy Young. I mean, his numbers show for it, especially on the Tigers team that got off to such a horrible start. I know they're playing a lot better to finish the season, but he's been dominant throughout the season. So, I mean, got nothing more to add. They just got to figure out what they're going to do. They got to pay him this offseason, I believe.
No, they can. They have one more year of arbitration technically after this season, but you probably would want to lock them up before that goes through.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I agree with y'all. I think the AL Cy Young's his to lose, and should be more than likely Chris Sale in the NL. So yeah.
They play tonight.
Tigers. Yep, Tigers play tonight 9:40. Cater Montero, Yu Darvish on the mound. Should be interesting. All right, so I want to switch it over to college football. So Reid, man, your Florida State Seminoles, man, they lost 13-28 to Boston College on Monday. They're now 0-2. They had the disappointing loss to Georgia Tech. So is the season pretty much over for Florida State, and where do they go from here?
I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily over, but you need to do some serious overhauling. I mean, personally, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer of it all or anything like that, but the team just doesn't look good. The defense can't stop the run. Ulangalele, is throwing the ball at the ground at people's feet. He can't throw it over 10 yards. All the plays are 10 yards crossers or, comeback routes. He can't throw it. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she's been dead for 15 years. She could throw the ball better than that already. So I don't know. It's crazy to see a guy who's been, touted as such a high prospect and he's so good, just be terrible. So, I mean, if you lose this week and you go 0-3, you have to bench him. You have to do something, whether it's Brock Glenn, who didn't look good. Granted, he was playing against, Georgia team and a Clemson team Louisville team that was pretty decent last season. So whether it's him or Kromenhoek, I don't know. I would like to see Kromenhoek, considering he came out of a draft class where Florida just started their true freshman at quarterback. Raiola's the third-ranked quarterback, and Kromenhoek was the fourth-ranked quarterback. So, I mean, Uiagalelei looks bad. The defense needs to step it up. I thought this defense was going to be way better with Patrick Payton and Marvin Jones Jr. and Cypress and all these other corners that you had. They look horrible. They can't stop a run, and it's just everything that I said at the beginning of the season I thought was going to happen just is not going to happen. And I think if Norvell goes down 0-3, I mean, I know they just extended it, but you got to look at him as some sort of hot seat candidate, considering he's been out coached by Georgia Tech's coach and by Boston College coach. So, you know, you lost a game on against a quarterback who threw for 106 yards. Like, it's crazy to me that you can lose, and that's a stat line. I mean, you can't run the ball, can't pass it. It's just, yeah, I'm not going to call it over because it's still a very young season, and again, they play in a very bad ACC. But I think Miami looked good. I think Miami can really step up and win it now, as much as we were, you know, down on them at the beginning of the season. I just think that, yeah, Florida State has a very tall hill to climb at this point in the season already.
Yeah.
Boston College head coach is Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
But I will say, coming into the season, I did not see this coming from Reid's team. I know he hasn't been a fan of DJU all summer. He's talked about it, but that I expect him to be this bad. A lot of it I can blame on DJU, but I'm not going to blame it all on DJU. That defense in that Boston College game gave up a 9-minute 13-play drive. Florida State only had the ball for 3 plays in that first quarter, so just ball control. The defensive line was supposed to be Florida State's, supposed to be one of the best in the country, along with Michigan, who I believe Michigan has the best in the country. But they just, like Reid said, haven't been able to stop a nosebleed. I expected the offense, especially the offensive line, to be a lot better. They have a lot of experience up front. Just ability, added Roydell Williams, Lawrence Tufili. Reid, I don't know what they were doing, but he barely even touched the field Monday night. They're averaging 2.5 yards per rush. They have a total of 119 yards in 2 games. It's not gonna get it done. It almost seemed like they kind of quit in that Boston College game. It's like, what do they have to play for right now? Because we've talked about it in the landscape of college football with the NIL, the transfer portal, and Florida State's done a really good job in the transfer portal over the last few years, especially with the Jared Verses of the world. Some of the guys that had the last couple of years, those guys hit from. And DJU, they put all their money on the table and hope they can have a good quarterback, and they just don't. I mean, can they turn the season around and be better? Yes, but they got to get one on the board first, and that starts with after this bye week, which they desperately need right now, and they host Memphis. So let's see what Mike Norvell and company can do, because they're catching all the heat and all the strays right now, because this is just an awful start for Florida State this season.
This is a
bye week coming at a more perfect time.
Perfect. I'm telling you.
This is how absolutely disgusting this team has been. I mean, you don't want to put it all on DJU, like you said, but he's a big part of it, and your quarterback is always going to take the most blame. We know that from being, here in Detroit. Stafford took a lot of blame in his career, but that's neither here nor there. But the quarterback's always going to take the blame for a lot of it. He went 21 for 42, 272, averaged 6.5 yard passing, 1 touchdown, 1 INT with a 27.4 QBR. The whole Florida State rushing, 5 guys rushed the ball. DJU took 8 of those carries. That was probably just him trying to run out of a collapsing pocket. They had 16 carries for 21 yards, 1.3 average. 13 was the long. DJU had a 13-yard rush, ended up with minus 5 yards rushing. Cam Davis was also a transfer. He rushed for 3 carries for 11 yards. Roydell Williams, 3 carries, 10 yards. Tuafili, 1 rush, 5 yards. A guy like Jalen Lucas, he's been big in the receiving game. He's supposed to be a running back that's supposed to replace these guys when they all leave. But, I mean, other than, Kentron Poitier, I don't remember how to say his last name, but he had that big catch, but 3 receptions, 79 yards. Ja'Kai Douglas has stepped up, 4 receptions, 66 yards. It's just Malik Benson hasn't really done what I thought he was going to do, 3 receptions, 33 yards. It's just crazy that this team can't seem to figure it out. And like I said, DJU needs to feed. And again, I won't put it all on him. He deserves a lot of blame, but that offensive line has looked horrible as well. The offensive line looked terrible.
Well, I will say this real quick before we get off it. I know they're 0-2 in the ACC, but I'm looking at their schedule. They got a bye week this week. They host a Memphis team who's a lot of teams had a lot of national media projected them to be the G5 champion, get in the playoff. Then they host a Cal team who has to come all the way across country. Then they go to SMU. SMU's first year in the ACC. Then they host Clemson, and let's be honest, Clemson is not the Clemson that we once thought they was. So then they go to Duke. They go to Miami.
Miami.
Yeah, they go to Miami on Halloween, right before Halloween, which is we see how Miami looked in. That's gonna be a dogfight. But there's some room to just get back on track now. Right now, what they're gonna be playing for is pride, because you're already 0-2 in the ACC. So can you come back and win? It is possible, but they got a long way to go. Just start, like I said, get another win in a couple weeks, get back on track, and get these guys motivated, because they have just failed quick. And I mean, it's only September 4th we're talking about this right now, and we're already talking about Florida State season being over within a 2-week span.
Yeah, but you're talking about it being over because they just haven't looked good. They haven't looked like a team that you expect them to be. They just look bad, and there's no excuse for it. You thought you brought in all these guys. I mean, Cam Ward looked unbelievable at University of Miami when they just played Florida, and you could have had him, but you took DJU. You signed him, earlier because maybe you thought you couldn't get Cam Ward or whatnot, but you signed him in, January 1st. Cam Ward signed the 13th. So it was between you and Miami, and maybe if you did a better sell job, you could have had a guy like Cam Ward, who I think would have absolutely helped. DJU's mobile, and he has a big arm, but he's also very inaccurate. He panics when he gets blitzed. He doesn't escape the way he should. He holds onto the ball too long. It's just the team looks bad, and yeah, maybe this bye week, hopefully Norvell lights a fire underneath their ass and tells them figure something out. But as of right now, he just looks like he's defeated. He looks like he doesn't like coaching. I understand he probably, he definitely wants to coach this team, but he just looks like he doesn't care. He went for it on 2 4th downs, and you made horrible plays. One of them turned into a pick, flipped the field. The other one, you went for it at your 40-yard line. They got the ball. They both turned into scoring drives. It's unacceptable. It's dumb. They need to step it up. And if they don't come out and firing, and you need to at least score and your first drive against Memphis, or else I think that this is going to be a long season and it's going to be a complete failure.
Yeah, I think they'll look much better after the bye week.
What's the deal with Marvin Jones Jr.? Is he not playing well? Did they bench him? What's going on with that?
He's playing good. He just seems like he's not. I don't know if it's comfortability. I don't know if he's just wasn't ready for the season. He looks like he's slower. He looks like he's just not playing. He doesn't get off very fast anymore. He just seems like he's getting overpowered. I don't know if maybe that's why he left. He was getting lazy or something. I don't know. He just doesn't seem. Maybe he is hurt. Maybe he has some sort of lingering injury. I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he has the power and the speed that you thought he was going to bring to this defensive line. At least that's what I've seen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I expect him to get turned around after this bye week. I expect him to put it on Memphis. Coming out this bye week, you don't want to go down 0-3, especially coming out of the bye week. So I expect them to get their season turned around.
Especially at that beginning of your season, too, against a Georgia Tech, a Boston College, and a Memphis, you go 0-3. That'd be horrible.
Kyle Morlock needs to catch the ball too.
Telling you, if they lose to Memphis, or if DJU's not playing well the first half against Memphis, I want to see a quarterback change.
I can't at this point. Can't blame you. We've seen 8 quarters of horrible football from your Seminoles.
Yeah, horrible football is an understatement. It might be the worst football I've seen in a long time. This is a really Tiger coach in Florida State.
Yeah, I almost feel like it was right when Jimbo walked to the door. That's kind of what is giving me vibes of.
All right, we've gone on long enough talking about this FCS team. Let's move on.
Sticking with college football here. So, all right. So, Adrian, Michigan State won their home opener against Florida Atlantic last Friday. What did you think? How did you think Michigan State looked? And they're at Maryland this week. Maryland, an 8.5-point favorite in that one. You see Maryland covering.
I expect the Aiden Childs to play a little better. Started the game off a play action pass, got deflected, and it was like a triple tip. They called it a pick. I don't really think it was an interception. Honestly, I think the guy's foot was on the line. Other than that, I believe they've added like 61 players in the have different players on the roster now from compared to last season. I think just you got to give Jonathan Smith some time. They played okay, just sloppy. I don't think they have elite receivers or playmakers out there. Besides maybe a Nick Marsh, he's still young. Velling the tight end, I think he's good. Nate Carter couldn't really get open with the offensive line. I think it's a work in progress. I think they get better as the season goes on. Like I said, Charles is only 18 years old. I do think Michigan State does make a bowl game though. I believe they can do it, but they gotta clean it up. Florida Atlantic is not a good football team. Luckily, so Michigan State was able to survive. I think the worst play of the game was when Aiden Childs threw the out route left side of the end zone and got picked. Lucky he didn't get returned. So Michigan State, I think, is just trying to figure out who they are as a team, figure out their identity, figure out what works for them. So going into Maryland, though, so would you say 8.5 or 9-point underdog there?
Yep.
Yeah, I do believe this will be one of the swing games for them. They're gonna have to win either this game or the Boston College game. So at least one. If they can win both, that's perfect. But these next two games are very important in terms of them making a bowl game right now. But I expect to see a better performance from Aiden Childs because he did say post game that he's putting it all on him. He will be better, which I think he can do. Now, a lot of people are thinking he's a bust. I'm like, just relax. Let's not overreact to week one. I think, like I said, Michigan State's roster is totally all over the place right now. So just give Jonathan Smith a little time. But I think in all, they'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree with Adrian. Sorry, my wife came in and told me that she just got attacked by a bat outside. Basically, one flew into her hair. But I think, I agree with Adrian. I think Aiden Childs does need to be a little bit better. I think it's him being a young 18-year-old that came into a new situation, a lot of pressure on him coming over from Oregon State. I definitely think that they need to get that tight end a little bit more involved. He was a little lackluster in this first game, and he's a top tight end prospect. He could be the Colston Loveland of your team. You know what I mean? He could be potentially a number one pick if you use him the correct way. I agree with Adrian. I think that the pick wasn't Aiden Childs' fault. I think the guy was actually out of bounds personally, but that's neither here nor there. I want to see more. I don't remember the guy's name, but number 15, that running back, I want to see a little bit more of him. He looked really good for them rushing. So, I think that they
Tyron Lynch Adams.
If that's who he was. Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, he looked really good. So, will they beat Maryland? They go to Maryland, you said?
Yep, they're at Maryland. Maryland's a 9-point favorite.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of a tough atmosphere to play in. Maryland fans are always kind of crazy, so tough atmosphere. I definitely think they can cover that 9 points. I think that they can come out and they can play better than what they thought. Like Adrian said, their wide receivers aren't great, but you hope that Marsh and a few of those other guys can come out and really figure it out, and then again rely on that tight end. He's there for a reason. He transferred over for a reason. Jonathan Smith, and him and Aiden should have some chemistry. So I definitely think they can cover. Will I take him for a win right now? Not after what I saw last week, but I definitely would take him to cover.
Yeah, I like Maryland in the points here. State still has a long way to go. Aiden Childs, he can only go up from here, but this roster, it just seems like they got a lot of filling out to do. The offense, it just seems like they got a long way to go. I think this team is they're not there yet. Them going to Maryland right now and winning this game, I'd be very surprised if they pulled that off. I'm going with Maryland in the points. Shout out Bashir in the building. Says, "Sup with y'all guys? Hope all is well."
What's up, Bashir? Appreciate it. Yeah.
I feel like we haven't heard from Bashir in a while.
Yeah, and then he said, "State will be okay going forward. A lot of young talent."
Agree.
Yep.
They just need to get hot during that, and before we continue, last thing I'll say, they need to get hot before that middle part of their schedule, and they play Michigan and Ohio State and Iowa. I mean, Iowa surprised scoring points actually this year. I guess they said they had 5 wide receiver touchdowns in the last 2 years. They had 3 in the game at the beginning of the week. So, I think that Michigan State, as long as they can, get these next 3 games all right, they can kind of figure it out, whether they lose to Maryland or not. But these next 3 games, they get it figured out. They just need to be ready for that middle stretch of their season.
Absolutely. Agreed. All right. So, sticking with the college football. So Adrian, Michigan, they didn't cover that spread against Fresno State. Got off to a sluggish start with the.
I told you, Linnick, and he didn't listen to me.
So what was your assessment of Michigan's home opener?
Got to a great start defensively. Got to a great start. Got the ball inside the 30. They scored with the orgy, making it seem like he's gonna do a run pass option, but he finally passed it for once instead of actually running it. I think that game showed me the defense is exactly where I thought they would be at elite. Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant. Will Johnson didn't play his best game as a Michigan Wolverine until the end of that game with the pick six to kind of seal the deal. He had a play early in the game where he tried to jump the pick and he missed it about this much. Got beat a couple times. Mikey Keene threw a good fade ball. Overall, like I said, the defense was good, I believe. Part of me very disappointed by the offense. I don't know if it was more of them trying to be a lot more vanilla, just running things against Fresno, knowing they got Texas next week. Maybe there's a 10% chance in there, I believe, but the offense has to improve to be much better. Now, Davis Warren getting a start, I can kind of see now why he is. Watching the orgy throw the ball a little bit, I'm concerned there's no accuracy. You guys remember a play he was scrambling to his right and he threw the ball right into the dirt. Just right into the dirt for the receiver. No shot. Davis Warren. Yeah, Frederick Moore missed Davis Warren missed a throw to Frederick Moore over the top. He waited too late to throw, and the corner jumps it. Got to improve. Got to find a way to get Donovan Edwards some more touches and get him an open space and explosiveness. I think they just got to find a way. I think the offensive line finds a way to get better. She's going to take a little bit of time, but I don't know if this is the time right now that they're ready to handle this Texas team. This Texas team is loaded with receiver. They 5-6 guys they can play. 4 transfer receivers they got, and they got a couple freshmen and sophomores who are pretty good. But I think just defensively, they're gonna have to keep the offense in the game until the offense figures out, force a couple turnovers, and maybe they can pull this win out. But right now, I'm definitely concerned. Like I said, offensively with the performance, it can only get better, which I believe they do. They traditionally do get better as the season goes on, but just not really happy with the offense performance. But defensively, I'm great. I loved what I seen from per usual.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the whole game because I'm pretty sure that I had to put my kids to sleep because it was a later game, obviously. So I didn't catch the full thing. I did watch the first touchdown from Orgy and a few of the other things that were that happened. It's just a lot of back and forth. I'm not a Michigan fan by any means, as everybody knows. If I was a Michigan fan, I'd be very worried about the quarterback situation because neither of these guys seem like they're solid passing quarterbacks. And granted, JJ wasn't, the best, but he was also, I think, better than these guys were. And I think the offensive line needs to come together. The offensive line didn't give Donovan Edwards all the rushing. Maybe Donovan Edwards isn't the guy that we thought he was from the national championship team. Granted, that was a big, difference in offensive line, but that second guy who came in, I think he had 11 rushes, 93 yards. I can't remember the running back's name.
Khalil Mullins.
Yeah, Khalil Mullins. I want to say Kendall Milton. That's the old Georgia running back. But, he played well. So, maybe it was just a slow game for Donovan Edwards. Maybe they just kind of predicted that he was going to run it. They knew what he was going to do. So I think playing against Texas, like Adrian said, yeah, you're going to have a tough time. These quarterbacks are going to hopefully figure it out and they can – get him into space to pass it or, give him enough time. But I don't know. I think Texas might have a good enough defense to, and a good enough offense to where they can stop Michigan early and they can either pile on points or they can tire that defense down and pile on points later in the game. Cause I don't think Michigan's offense is going to spend, a whole lot of time on the field. Coming from someone whose team doesn't spend a whole lot of time on the field, I don't think it's going to be as big of a bloodbath as people are saying. I think Michigan can definitely, with the defense and everything, hold their own. The offense just needs to come together. Is what my thought is on it. They just didn't really do anything for me against a Fresno State team. Their offense is, good, but their defense is not anything really to write home about. So I'm interested to see how they're going to play. And I think Michigan's going to have, if they continue this up, it's going to be some tough sledding. USC didn't look like any slouches. I mean, obviously Oregon didn't look great, but I think they're going to figure it out. And I think that OSU obviously looked solid. I mean, granted, they weren't playing anybody great, but you're going to have a pretty tough schedule this year if your offense stays the same way that they played against Fresno State.
Yeah. So Reid, Texas 7.5 point favorite. Does Texas cover?
Yeah, I was saying I said Texas wins by 10-14. I think that they could win by if everything goes their way. If they can stay out on the field, if they can tire the defense down, don't help don't allow Michigan's running backs to get hot. I think that they can definitely win by 10 to 14 points.
I will. I will say I think Michigan finds a way to cover this game. I think it's a close game. The key to winning this game for either team will be, like we talked about, Texas' explosive offense. The key will be who can control the pace of the game. If Texas is running up and down the field and throwing the ball all over the yard, Michigan has no shot. But Michigan can run a lot better than they did last week. I believe they can take advantage and slow this Texas team down and keep the offense off the field as much as possible. Let's not forget Texas lost Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy, their best two defensive tackles, to the NFL. So Michigan has to find a way to take advantage of the opportunity, and they're going to have to make a couple big passing plays in this game to be able to win this game. Can they do it? I think they can. Will they do it? I don't think. I still think Texas finds a way to win this game, and the close one is toughest for me, is that to say. But this will be a good game, I believe. Though Michigan won't be no slouch for Texas, so we just got to come in there and play hard, and we'll see what happens. But Texas definitely has the edge.
I think it's going to be close early in the first half. I think Texas finds a way to pull away. I'm going to take Texas by 10 points. So I think they cover that 7.5. All right, let's see.
Everybody keeps saying bloodbath. I just don't. I mean, you're still playing at the big house.
Sure. I don't understand why Michigan didn't hit the portal for a QB in the offseason.
Because they weren't willing to spend that NIL money, Basir. That's why.
Listen, my team did, and it's the same result, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that would have been smart. I mean, you could have got a guy like Cam Ward or something. You'd have been right back in the mix.
I will say real quick before we get off Michigan, I will say this team kind of reminds me of like an earlier hardball team that had like a Jake Rudock or like a Wilton Spate. Nothing sexy at quarterback, just a guy who can possibly be serviceable, but nothing dynamic.
I saw somebody say, and I'm not trying to take this as like being disrespectful because I kind of understood what they meant. Michigan is very much like Iowa now, where they just don't have like the offensive threat. It's just a lot of defense and like running the ball, but they're obviously a better team. But it's you're just more worried about, you're more worried about your offense trying to score points against their defense and hope that their offense doesn't, break one or two here. Because other than that, like their offense isn't, they're not scaring anybody in that sense. Not saying they're Iowa where they don't score, they don't cover their spreads, because they do, but I'm just saying they're very much in that like realm of their offense doesn't scare you, but their defense does.
Hey Reid, real quick, how much different would you look at this Michigan team? Say JJ was back for his senior season.
I think they would be playing a lot. I think they would look a lot better. I would give you probably like I think they could potentially lose to USC. I don't think they would lose to USC if they were playing them. Texas, I feel like they would cover. I still think Texas would win. I definitely think you would probably split like the Texas and Oregon game, and I think you would have a chance against Ohio State. I don't think they have much of a chance at this moment, but if you had like a JJ back, as much as I don't think he's awesome, I think that he's a good enough quarterback in college to help them. So I think he would probably give you two of the big games.
Yeah, we got the number one quarterback high school recruit in the country. Hopefully, go to Michigan to help him out. My man's from Belleville. What's his name?
Yeah, Bryce is going to he's taking his talents down south to LSU.
Oh, he's going to LSU. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
it was between LSU and Michigan, wasn't it?
Yep.
Pretty sure.
I mean, if I was him, I would have went to LSU too.
Yeah. BA says Texas will win by 2 scores. Axe says I got Texas by 8.
Okay.
And Bashir says if Orgy goes to the league, it won't be as a QB.
Yeah, I can agree on that.
I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about that. I still think it's too early. I mean, is the kid's what, a sophomore, right? Something like that? Junior? Okay, yeah. If he does go to the league, then he wouldn't be. I mean, it's still early. He can still, show you he's a dual threat guy, but I don't know. I just think that a few passes they saw they didn't like, and I don't think they trust his arm. So he'd be like a Denard Robinson at this point, but not as good, obviously.
Yeah. All right. Last college game on the slate. Adrian, Western at Ohio State. Ohio State's 38-point favorite. Does Ohio State cover?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think they cover.
All right, there it is. What Western looked good in their opener against Wisconsin, but yeah, going to the horseshoe is probably going to get ugly down there.
Yeah.
All right, so NFL. Want to get the NFL in here, man. Rams at Lions. Lions 3.5-point favorite. Reid this Sunday. What do you expect to see from these Lions, man? And do they cover that 3.5? I think I know your answer. Reid didn't pick against the Lions at all last season.
Turned out pretty good for me in certain games. Yeah, I mean the Rams come back here. Obviously, Kelly Stafford, as we all know, said she's not coming to the game because she's emotionally scarred from last time because apparently Lions fans booed her kids, which wasn't the case, but whatever. It is what it is. So, yeah, 3 points. I mean, I think this Lions team is
3.5.
3.5. I still think this Lions team is improved from last season. I think the corners got better. Granted, one's a rookie, one's a slot guy from Oakland, and then you have Carlton Davis. But I still think they got better. Granted, you're playing a Rams team that now has Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, so that's scary. But
Blake Corum.
And Blake Corum. I don't think he's starting over Kyron Williams, but he might take a few snaps here and there. I know he's returning kicks, so that'll be exciting for Michigan/Lions fans to see. But yeah, I think, obviously I'm going to be watching out for my guy Jared Verse and Braden Fisk. They got drafted from Florida State to that Rams team. So they'll be playing next to each other. I think that'll be exciting to watch. But I still think the Lions can cover that, and I think that they're playing at home. Everybody knows Ford Field's a dangerous atmosphere to play in now. So yeah, I could see the Lions winning by 7 points. I think the Rams cornerbacks are horrible. So I think St. Brown, Laporta, because their linebackers aren't great either, but Laporta, I think J-Mo's going to have a really big game. I already said to my other group chat, I said take J-Mo's over in receiving yards and to score a touchdown because I think that could absolutely happen. I think he's going to have a bigger year. Obviously, we've talked about this before, so I would take the Lions and 7 points. You're playing at home. That's at least, good for a touchdown, I would say.
Yeah, give me the Lions. I said they went by a touchdown. This fan base will be rocking. They get this started Sunday night game to get the spotlight. We've already seen what Detroit did home in Ford Field during the playoffs last season, so they'll be ready to go. I don't want to hear nothing about booing Stafford. No one cares anymore.
Yeah,
it's done and gone. Let's play football. I think, like Reid said, Detroit Lions are the better team. They're relatively healthy. DJ Reader has a chance to play in this game, which if he's not 100% healthy, I wouldn't rush to play him. Like I did tell you guys, I did say J-Mo is going to have a breakout year, which means 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns for me. Think he has a monster year. Laporta gets covered a lot more this year, so J-Mo is going to be the guy who I believe steps it up. In the Rams defense, Young, Verse, Fisk, Byron Young, Kobe Turner, first, second, or third year guys in the D-line. So
still scary though.
They are scary. But they're going against arguably the best offensive line in the National Football League. So give me the Detroit Lions to punch them in the mouth and don't stop. So,
all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and play devil's advocate here, man.
Of course,
I'm going with the Rams in this one, man. I'm taking the Rams by field goal. I think Stafford, he needs to get a win at Ford Field, and I think he's going to get this. They're going to get them back for that playoff game last year. Everything leans the Lions in this game, and you guys know me. When everything leans one way, I go the opposite. Last week on stream, I told you guys, everybody, Texas A&M, give me Notre Dame. When everything leans one way, I like to go the other way, man. So I think Stafford, he needs to get that signature win at Ford Field. I think he gets it done here. I like the Rams by 3 points. Let's see. Share says Lions.
To be fair, I think they win by more than 7 points, but I think that they could cover with 7 points. But I think they beat the Rams handily, actually. I don't think the Rams' defense, other than their line, is any good. And the Lions have a really good offensive line. So I do think the Lions could win by more than 7.
Okay, we get our Super Bowl picks in a minute. I got an interesting take there. Stay tuned. All right, so some Lions over-unders. I got some over-unders for the season. I got 5 over-unders over here. So Adrian, let me know. Lions first-round cornerback pick, Terrion Arnold. 2.5 interceptions, over or under?
Under.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under on that. That's
Say
I
two.
mean,
I say he hits
Ross
two.
had 3 as rookie of the year, right? So Aiden had 3 as not rookie of the year, which I think he should have definitely got it. But yeah, that's. I mean, interceptions are hard to come by, and he's obviously, I think he's listed as cornerback number 3 right now, maybe cornerback 2. So he'll get it. He'll get started, but picks are hard to come by, man. They're not easy. So yeah, I would say under. I would say under 2.5.
Yeah, I'm going there as well. I'm gonna give him 2. All right, Reid. Aiden Hutchinson had 11.5 sacks last year, so over under on 12 sacks this year for Aiden Hutchinson.
Ooh.
So the thing for me is they didn't get anybody They didn't get anybody opposite. We got to see what Davenport's going to do. Maybe James Houston comes back and play well. So I think that stops him from getting a few. He had 11.5. I think he's going to play hard. I think he can get it. I think he can get. You said 12.5 is what it was.
12.
I'll say 12.5. 12.5 is what he's going to get. He'll go just over. I think he needs to get a contract first. I think you need to beat his last sack record in order to get it. So yeah, give me 12.5.
Yeah, I'll go over. He's been a lot better than his counterpart, Teron Walker from Jacksonville. 9.5, 11.5. I expect that total to keep increasing. I say he's in the third. I say he finishes with 13.5 this year.
Before we continue the next one, your Indiana Fever are playing the LA Sparks? Their Sparks are inbounding it. Caitlin Clark is 1 rebound away from a triple-double. Do you tell her to go into the paint and try and get that rebound?
No, we got to keep her healthy.
She's not going to get it anyway. She just got fouled, and the Sparks made it. So she's already got 2 of them, but I didn't know if the players were going to be like, yeah, get in there. And it seems like the women, the WNBA are more like, yeah, like let's work to get these girls like these triple doubles and stuff like that. It seems like when the men do it, it's like, no, go fucking get it yourself.
Yeah. Hey, I'm glad she got those. I got her in the parlay for 6 rebounds, so I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, she's at 20, I think 24, 10, and 9.
Cool. Glad to hear.
All right,
glad to hear.
just a question.
And I got the over on the 12 sacks for Aiden. All right, my next one here. You guys pretty much already both answered it. Jamison Williams, Adrian, over under receiving yards 850. I think I know where you're going with this.
Sir.
Yeah, 1,000. I mean, I would love 1,000. I said like anywhere from 900 to 925. So I'm going to take the over. And I said 8 to 9 touchdowns. So I definitely think he has a breakout season. 1,000 yards is a lot though in this offense to go around. The one thing I think that might hurt JMO is just they're going to try and go deep threat, but Goff can't throw a deep threat. So maybe he'll get a few extra ones on some jet sweeps or. I think they need to do a lot more post routes or crossing routes with JMO, him coming across the field, catching the ball in stride. Obviously, you want to catch him in stride when he's going straight on a fade, but Goff doesn't have the arm talent for that. So I think you got to figure out some way to pick the linebackers, get him in a crosser, and have him come across like Odell used to. Remember when Odell had those? He was like unstoppable. He'd come into a shallow post. He'd hit him right in stride, and Odell would go for a touchdown or, 60, 70 yards. So I say over 925 and 8 touchdowns is my prediction.
Yeah, I'm going with the over on that as well. I don't think he gets 1,000. I think he gets just under 1,000, but I do think he gets over 850. So I'm
putting this on the parlay. He gets over 1,000. I'm throwing him on a single leg parlay. My boy's going to get 1,000. I
love it. Oh, she did.
I mean, he's more than capable because last year, the suspension, year before that, the injury. This will be his full season with no monkey on his shoulder. So it's all there.
Triple double apparently. She's 24, 10, 10. So her second one of the year. I thought she had 2 already. But.
All right, cool. All right, my next one here. Reid Jahmyr Gibbs, 13 total touchdowns this season. He had 11 total last year. He had 10 rushing and 1 receiving.
13 total?
13 total for Jahmyr Gibbs.
It's tough.
That is so tough.
He had 11 last year.
Yeah, I mean, they said they want to get him more involved. I just think with JMO stepping up, you still have Laporta. I think Monty's going to take it. I'm going to go under, but just under. I think he can go for like 11 again, 11 or 12. I mean, you hope that he gets some of those receiving. I mean, it's possible if he gets goal line work, but I'm going to go just under. I'm going to say 12.
Yeah, I'll agree with Reid. Just because I'm so high on J-Mo, I believe Gibbs won't have to do as much in terms of scoring touchdowns, but still be effectively in terms of scrimmage yards. But I'm gonna go slightly under as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under. It's a lot of mouths to feed. Laporta, St. Brown, you got a two-headed monster at running back. Now he could possibly get it if Montgomery goes down with an injury and Gibbs has to be the guy for a couple games. Then I could see him getting it. But
that's the only way I see him getting it. Honestly, I was gonna say that too, but I didn't want to speak it into existence, Raj.
Yeah. Well, no, we're not gonna speak that into existence. But yeah, I'm gonna go under on 13 as well. Just under. Like he'll get about 11 again or like 12. All right. So Jared Goff had 30 touchdown passes last year, Adrian. So over under on 30 touchdown passes for Goff this season.
Over.
Okay. Yeah, it should be over. I agree with y'all. It should be over.
Too many weapons not to be over, to be honest with you. And I think he had 40. He have 45? He had 4,500 yards passing or 43. He was second behind Tua.
Somewhere
around there. I would honestly take Jared Goff for over the passing yards. I think he's at 4,000 or something for his FanDuel bet. I'd have to look, but I'm pretty sure he's at like 4,000 or somewhere around there for passing yards. I'd go way over 4,000.
He threw for 45.75 last year.
Yeah, and then do we know? I'll look it up on FanDuel, see what his passing totals are. But yeah, I would say he goes over 4,500 this year too. Personally,
yeah, that was a career high by a little over 200 yards last year.
I just think this offense has too many passing weapons for him not to go over.
Right. All right, and then last one here, FanDuel has the Lions at 10.5 wins. 10.5 wins. You like to over under on that, Adrian?
I'll go slightly over. I said they finished 11-6.
Okay.
I said over 12. I said over, and they're gonna have 12 wins. I wanted to say 13, but I also feel like no. You know what? No, I'm gonna say 13 because I think that they take. I think that they. I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna say 13. I think people think that they're gonna split with Chicago. I think Chicago's gonna have a little bit of growing pains, and I still think that they take 2 from Chicago.
So 13 wins in essence would get them pretty and a chance to get the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, for sure.
So Jared Goff's regular season passing total yards is set at over under 4,025.5.
Oh, I'm going over. That's
way over that. It's only at minus 112. I don't really like those odds, but
yeah, might Adrian might have to put that on the parlay with Jeremo.
Mm-hmm. A Lions season parlay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I say over 10.5. I think 10.5 is a little low.
All right, cool. All right, Thursday night football tomorrow. Ravens at the Chiefs. Chiefs 3-point favorite in that one. How you see that one going?
I still I don't like either of these teams, obviously, because the Chiefs keep winning, and I think that Lamar winning MVP last year was a little ridiculous. But the Chiefs are at home. Arrowhead is a tough place to play. Although the Lions won it last season, I think that the Ravens lost too much defensively, and I still think. But you did add Derrick Henry. I still think your wide receivers are lacking a little bit, and the Chiefs, are still the Chiefs. So I still think the Chiefs win by. I think I take the Chiefs in the points personally.
Yeah, I don't know why people keep doing it, keep doubting the man. They're going potentially for back-to-back Super Bowls. Never happened before. I think they have a legitimate shot to do it. Love Lamar, big fan of him, but it's got to win some big games. They're going to Arrowhead. Banners dropping the game. Patrick Mahomes knows how to win, and I believe he gets the job done again tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going with the Ravens. I think Lamar and the boys got a better taste in their mouth from that AFC Championship game. They would love nothing more than to go beat the
Last
Chiefs in
two
this
AFC Championship games.
Yeah, I think they would love nothing more than to go beat these Chiefs and get that lick back. And I think how they do it, you add Derrick Henry now. You want to beat Patrick Mahomes, keep him off the field, run the ball, win the time of possession. I think Baltimore will do that. So I'm running with the Ravens in this one.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited for another NFL season, man. As we know in like college, all the NFL games are pretty close and it's pretty tough. That's the great thing about the NFL. Get blowouts, but rarely.
For sure. All right, yeah. So before we close it out in the NFL, let's get our Super Bowl predictions in. Let's get our Super Bowl predictions in. Reid, who you got?
Yeah, so that I was thinking about this one earlier, and I was looking at the AFC, and I was like, the Bills are in a struggle situation because they lost so many people. But I love Josh Allen. I really want to root for him, and I hope he makes it to a Super Bowl. But I don't know if this offensive weapons with them, they can't do it. Then I looked at the Jets. I said, Aaron Rodgers, he's always a possibility, but it's still the Jets. So, I'm not totally sold on them. The Bengals, I'm not sold on them because, they potentially have so much turmoil with Jamar Chase's, extension. Dolphins, I don't think. And anyway, I went through all the teams and I said, okay, narrow it down, Chiefs and Ravens. I said, I still think the Ravens are the Philadelphia 76ers of the NFL, so I don't think they're going to make it. And so I think it's going to be the Chiefs again. They're going for that, like Adrian said, three-peat. So I definitely think it's going to be the Chiefs. The homer in me, and they got so close last season, I want to say the Lions for the NFC. The reason I say the Lions for the NFC because I did the same thing. It came down to it. I don't think the Cowboys are going to do it because, again, they are just the Philadelphia 76ers of the NFC. They don't make it past the first round. I looked at the Eagles. The Eagles are all in turmoil. Their head coach, there was talks that they didn't like the head coach last season, that he's still not there. He's still not great. They added Saquon. They added some big pieces, but I'm still not totally sold on the Eagles. And then I think that the 49ers, whether you like it or not, they have a lot of the pieces and they want to get back there. But I just think at this point, the Brandon Ayuk thing, I just couldn't look at them and say that they're a team that's going to go back into the Super Bowl. And if they do, then I think it's Kyle Shanahan's on the hot seat, and I think it's his last year. So I'm going to go with the Lions. I have to. They almost did it last year going to the NFC Championship game. They should have probably won that game, but, stuff happened. I think they have – you want to talk about, getting their get back. I think they want to get their get back, and I think they're ready. They improved. So I'm going to go Lions versus Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I know that's homerism pick, but I don't care.
Okay.
All right, for me, of course, I'm riding with them again, picking the Kansas City Chiefs until somebody beats them, man. We talked about this year and again. Same thing we talked about when Tom Brady was playing for the New England Patriots. You got to beat them, man. Until I see somebody beat them, just can't bet against them. So give me Patrick Mahomes to get back to the Super Bowl and try to compete for a third Super Bowl in a row. Out of the NFC, they're going to hate me for this. The fan base here in my hometown is going to hate me for this pick, but I'm going with the Green Bay Packers.
Ooh, more interesting than what I thought.
I believe Jordan Love is on an ascension to be a great quarterback. I like their weapons. Defense is a lot improved. It's division for the Lions and the Packers is going to be tough this year, but I just believe I'm just picking the Packers, man. I got to go with it. So, and it even motivates my hometown Lions more.
The only reason I couldn't pick the Packers is because the offense can still be good. I'm still just a little weary on the wide receiver room that they have and the offensive line for the Packers. So they were – I definitely thought about them, but they were just one of the teams where I just think the offense might end up hurting them at the end of the season. They can still be good. Don't get me wrong. They can definitely still be really good and be good in the future because I think Jordan Love's going to be a great quarterback, as much as that pains me to say, because they've had – 3 quarterbacks in the last 20 years, and they've all been fantastic. So Jordan Love can still be good. I just don't trust that offense, wide receiver room or offensive line personally.
Okay, all right. So my NFC prediction, my NFC Championship game, I got the Eagles and the Rams in my NFC Championship game, and I got the Eagles beating the Rams. I got the Eagles going back to the Super Bowl. Then in the AFC Championship game, I got the Houston Texans and the LA Chargers. I got the Chargers beating the Texans. I got the Chargers and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. and I got Philly winning it all this season.
You always come with these. You always come with these ones, and they look good sometimes. But I just can't do the Eagles and the Chargers. The Chargers are a little bit are some time away. I think. Talk about a wide receiver room that they don't have. They don't have one at all.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Reid.
And the defense is still a little shaky, in my opinion.
All right, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna play this like the end of January. We'll see how all our predictions looking.
Man, I do that Eagles team. I just can't get over how I just think that they're gonna flame out so badly like they did last season. I just think there's too much going on in that organization with the head coach.
Yeah.
I just can't see it.
I expect big things from the Eagles this year. You add Saquon Barkley, Devin White, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They got Terrion Arnold, the corner out of Toledo. They drafted the other corner from Iowa.
Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah. I said Terry. Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell. My bad.
They got Reed's boy Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
Yeah, they loaded up. They loaded up, and I think the NFC East is theirs to lose. I'm not trusting the Cowboys, Commanders, or the Giants. So I think I like Philly, man. I like Philly a lot. I think they get it done this season.
The Rams pick I actually like better because I think the Rams could sneaky surprise people and overcome the 49ers and win that division, but that's like a hot take of mine.
I think the problem with the 49ers, I think, is there's just too much noise going on right now in the organization. There's just a lot of stuff going on from, I'm glad Ricky Pearsall is going to be okay. He died.
What a story. What a story.
Yeah, gets shot going to Kyle Shanahan's party. That's crazy.
He was back in the weight room like 2 days later, they said. That's insane.
Yeah. Trent Williams just signed an extension. Brandon Ayuk just signed his extension. They just created a cap to restructure Debo's deal. I think Debo is the odd man looking out. His team's getting old. You got to pay Brock Purdy. I just think they're just running out of steam, man. They get so close every year, and they just cannot finish the job. It's, like I said, it tells you how tough it is to win a Super Bowl, no matter what kind of talent you got. And don't forget Dre Greenlaw, the other linebacker with Fred Warner. I don't even know if he's playing this year. He tore his Achilles in the Super Bowl running off the field. So it's just, to me, it's just a lot of noise going on in San Francisco right now. Christian McCaffrey's already banged up right now. So I'm not believing the 49ers will be as good. I think this is, like I said, this is their last year with the pieces they got to have that window open right now. Then they're gonna have to start getting rid of certain guys, and the cap's gonna get crazy.
Yeah, I got the Rams winning the NFC West.
I could see it. I mean, Stafford and Kupp have to stay healthy, in my opinion, for that to happen. Their O-line is so banged up, though. That's the problem with the Rams. That's another reason why I have them losing against the Lions. The O-line is so banged up, and they have no corners. It's just that's the biggest thing for them.
They signed a former Lion.
Yeah, but Jonah Jackson is even banged up, and now they're talking about moving him from guard to center.
Oof. And if anybody knows him well enough, it's the Lions. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I just they have a lot of banged up pieces on that O-line, and they don't have anybody at cornerback.
Okay, all right. We'll see what them Ram boys do this season. All right, last question here, Adrian. Who's your current WNBA Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese?
Like I told Reid, we had a nice discussion about this in the group chat. I'm going co-MVPs for the both of them. I believe they both should win it. I know Caitlin's team is in the playoffs and playing a lot better. She's on a lot better team, and shout out to what they're both doing. I just think the impact that the both of them are making, not only off the court but on the court right now, I'm going co-MVPs in my opinion. But if you want to give it to Caitlin, I'm fine with that. But I would give them co-MVPs.
Yeah, I think what Adrian said is smart for the league in general, because I think that, like you said, they're both playing really well. They definitely both brought attention to the game, made it more fun to watch. I know a lot of people that watched it because of Angel. I know a lot of people, including myself, watched it because Caitlin Clark is being compared to Steph Curry, which is, kind of a crazy thing to do, but she is that type of person who came in the league and shoots threes like crazy, like Steph Curry did. So I think co-MVP is smart kind of for the whole brand of the WNBA to do, because those two girls have such big fan bases. But again, if you do give it to one person, I think if you look at the recent play and how the team's playing and where they're at right now, I definitely think Caitlin has the upper hand on the Rookie of the year. Again, I think they just said they're 10-1 since July 1st. So their team has made big stretches going from 500. Now they're over 500 to make the playoffs. So I told you, I obviously winning a championship is a crazy thing, but the bet was plus 3,500 on FanDuel, and now it's all the way down to plus 1,100 to win the championship. So are they going to win it? I don't know. Obviously, Vegas knows a lot, but they're a hot team right now. They caught fire at the right time. So if you want to give it to one person, I think Caitlin is helping her team better. She is a flow kind of player to her team, but I think for the brand, ultimately, it would be smarter to expand kind of the game.
Yeah. I mean, you can't take nothing away from neither one of their impact. They both had a huge impact on the game, the ratings. Even when they played each other this season, them were some of the most highest rated games in WNBA history. So you can't take away nothing they're both done. Angel Reid set the single season rebound record. But, I mean, Indiana's winning during the playoffs. Like Reid said, 10-1 since July 1st. Sky,
Caitlin Clark just had another double-double tonight, or triple-double tonight, we said.
Yeah, Sky 11-22. They've been pretty bad since they traded Marina Mabry right before the Olympics. I don't really know why they did that, but they've been way worse since then. So if they gave him Cole, I wouldn't be mad at that. But as of right now, I think Caitlin has the slight edge, just the fact that they're winning and they're going to be in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, and I think I saw something the other day too. Since I think it was like I think it was since July, she's averaging like 30. Like 11 and 6 or something like that is what Caitlin Clark's averaging. Some crazy numbers like that. It was insane. So she's or maybe it was like 30, 10 and 7 or 30, 10 and 6. I don't know. She's just playing out of her mind. She's shooting the ball more confidently, it seems like, and her team is just playing so much better. I mean, Kelsey Mitchell, we talked about her before. She's averaging almost 20 points a game now. Aaliyah Boston is averaging almost 20 and like 11 right now. It's just the team around her is just, they have all caught fire. So I think the team, is meshing well. I think they've finally found what they need to do, and they realize that, Caitlin, I think, realizes that she can facilitate the ball a lot more than she had to in Iowa. She didn't have to be the main person. She doesn't have to shoot it, a bunch. She does still shoot a lot of threes, but she can rely on Aaliyah, and she can rely on Kelsey to still score points for her, go out there and play. So that's why I think that she's such a, pivotal point to this team.
Absolutely. So yeah, we got to see how far they go in the playoffs. See what Caitlin and them do in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win it all this year. I think Minnesota and I got New York winning it all this season. I got New York winning.
How do those? Because I've never, again, this is my first year. You guys may not know either, but how do the playoffs work for them? They don't do like best of 7, obviously, best of 5. What do they do?
They do best of 3 until the WNBA finals, and then they do best of 5.
Okay. And how many? And so how many rounds is it? Still
3 rounds. So 2 rounds to get to the finals.
Yeah, so 2 rounds, best of 3, and then the finals, best of 5. Okay.
All right. So Reid, you got Indiana winning it all?
I mean, I don't have them winning it all. I mean, to be honest with you, at this point, I kind of wish that I put a little bit of scratch on that plus 3,500, but I ended up forgetting about it, and then they won like 3 in a row, and then went all the way down to 1,900, and now it's down to like 11. So, I mean, it's still kind of good odds, but I still would have liked him at 3,500. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Dave Portnoy, the president of Barstool, said that he put $1 million down on them when they were plus 3,900 or 3,500, something like that. Put $1 million on $10,000. I don't remember what it was. It was something like $10 million. Maybe, so
that's crazy.
I'm sure he's
crazy
now, because how good they're winning. But
yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that's all I had. Anything else you guys want to add before we get up out of here?
I want to say, go Steelers. Got a big game opening weekend. Play Atlanta Falcons. I believe the Steelers find a way to win that game down in the dirt against the Dirty Birds. Got to find a way to get it done. Well, you guys know I have a lot to say come next week about it, but I do believe they find a way to get a W down there. So, and then go Blue, baby. I can't wait. Saturday. It's going to be a good day. Oh, Reid, before we get out of here, Florida State just landed a 4-star linebacker out of the state of Florida. He chose He chose your Seminoles over the Florida Gators and the Miami Hurricanes. So that's a good positive note to end the
that'll change by the 15th when they see them play Memphis. They'll get out of here. That is great news. I'm happy to hear that. That makes me very happy because obviously those two other schools have pedigree too. But my thing I wanted to ask you guys, and I didn't know if we were going to talk about it for NFL. What do you guys think about this Brazil game since they got that going on? I know it's going to be a longer topic, but you have the Eagles and Packers on Friday. So
I'm gonna go Packers. And the weird thing about this game is the fact that a lot of the players, I heard Darius Slay on a podcast saying that the NFL told them that they can't even leave outside of their hotel. Security's going to be heightened. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in Brazil. As we all know, the crime rate's pretty high. So, I mean, I don't get the point of playing this game where you guys can't even go outside and travel a little bit, even see the world. I know you came here to play a football game, but just even explore a little bit. It's kind of weird to me, but it's neither here nor there. But
Eagles are 2.5-point favorites.
I'll take it. I'll take the Packers with the points.
Yeah, I'm running with the Eagles in the 2.5.
I think it's crazy how they told them they can't wear green and they sent 2 green teams to the zone.
Yeah.
Although I did see a bunch of Eagles fans up on that Philly guy who's a big Phillies fan who paints his face and he's got the mohawk you see him in the pads all the time for the Eagles. He went up to the Christ the Redeemer, the big statue that they have there, and he was wearing green up there. So I don't know how serious it is, but I still think it's crazy he sent 2 green teams there. I'm gonna, as much as it pains me to say, I'm gonna ride with Adrian and the Packers. I think that they can get it done because again, I just don't know about this Eagles team in this turmoil.
Yeah, I get why they're trying to do these global games. Expand the game. It's more revenue, more streaming. I get that, but it's like go to a safer country then. Yeah. Like, why would you send them to a country where
go somewhere else in Europe? You went to Germany and you've been to England before. Go somewhere. Go to like Portugal. Go to Spain. Go to like these other places.
Yeah, they're trying to explore more down in South America, but a lot of those countries in South America, like Ecuador or Colombia, are super dangerous if you go to the wrong places.
Yeah, and then like the first sport there is going to be soccer always. I don't think football is going to have that big of an impact.
Yeah,
impact down there.
I agree.
Why don't we ever have any games in Canada?
Yeah, I think that's kind of crazy too.
That's a good question. Maybe because of the CFLs going on right now. I don't know, even though it's not as big as NFL, but that could be one of the reasons. We're asking the wrong person. Maybe we can try to get Commissioner Goodell on the pod.
Yeah. He definitely takes time for that.
For sure. All right. Well, yeah, that's all I had. Anything else you guys want to add?
Good show. Another good football weekend coming. The college football slate for week 2 is not as crazy as week 1, but it's still great. We got full slate of NFL games. So I'm excited, fellas.
Season starts tomorrow, boys. Season starts tomorrow.
Oh. I'll send that parlay I got tomorrow. I've already got it cooked up right now. I'm going to send it. I'll have it sent by the morning in the group chat. So we all got to ride. All right. We can't share it with nobody. This is the sports update opening night kickoff parlay.
There we go.
The top secret one.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, good show, fellas. We'll have this weekend's of sports wrapped up for y'all for next week. And sports update. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, like the video. We up out of this thing, man. Peace.
See ya.
Peace.